Hey, Sasha, do buckaroos. Having a little issues getting it adjusted the way go where I want it to go. Anyway, how the heck are you? So, it's like it's not angling the way it had before. I can't figure out why. Ah, fucker's pissing me off. Anyways, I digress. My anger issues aside, damn it, I had it just right, and when I hit play, it went something else. I can't get it back to where I had it. Now it's pissing me off. All right. Anyways, I digress. Let me set this up here. Let me set it. For I have to set my thanks to friends because people that are trying to narrow it down. I just like to public, and that was becoming an issue, so I had to morph it to just friends. There we go. Now I got it set. There we go. Anyways, how the heck are you? I am Tom the Beer Whiskey Whisperer. I decided to have a beer with you. I didn't realize I still had one of these left. I picked this up, I don't know, just before Black Friday of last year. The Sam Adams Holiday Mix Pack, the Variety Pack exclusive. Their oak vanilla porter. Found it hiding way in the back of my magical beer fridge. Anyway, 5.8%, 35 IBUs. Figured, oh, let's finish it out. So, and I do have my long lost, Sam Adams glass. So let's finish that up. That poured in there. And a friend gave me this whiskey. It's good. I mean, it's a young whiskey. It's a 90 proof, pot distilled, 90 proof, straight bourbon whiskey, Woodinville, handmade in Washington State. This truly small batch bourbon. It's truly, but it's not an imitation small batch bourbon. They want to make sure you know it's a real fucking bourbon. It's truly small batch bourbon. Starts with richly grown corn, rye, and malted barley. So it is a traditional bourbon that does use rye as a secondary. They're trying to get me centered. I keep having the right spot, and then it moves on me, and I can't figure it out. It's just messing with me a little bit here. It's got my OCD all fired up. OCD all fired up. Anyway, I digress. The grains are mashed and distilled in our Woodinville distillery, then trucked back over the Cascade Mountains to our private barrel houses where central Washington's extreme temperature cycles promote the extraction of natural flavors. Yeah, I had a little bit of this the other day. Actually, like I said, a friend gave this to me, and it seemed that I liked it more than he did. But I wanted to give it another look here. My only real criticism of it was it just drinks like a young bourbon. But then again, I try not to be overly critical. Unless something is just inherently bad, I don't really talk bad about it. That's not what I do. I've never liked the term or the title critic or reviewer, because a reviewer is basically a critic. You're looking for something to be wrong, as a critic does. And I don't like to be called a beer whiskey reviewer or a critic, because I'm never looking for anything to be wrong. I'm looking for everything to be right. So I'm not looking for flaws inherently. If there is a flaw, I'll pick it out and I'll tell you about it. But if it's just a taste, if it's just something, if it's a taste preference, I don't see that as a negative or a flaw. But a lot of so-called reviewers and critics will. They'll say, "Well, it tastes like this, but it should taste like this." Well, it should taste like how it tastes. What you're looking for, if you're calling yourself a reviewer or a critic, you should be able to pick out the flaws and not just the differences. And as a beer guy, there are certain styles that I like more than others. So if it's a style I'm not necessarily crazy about, I won't say it's a bad beer because I'm not crazy about the style. I will say something to the effect of, this beer doesn't work for my particular taste preferences, but it's not inherently flawed. And I think a lot of folks that call themselves reviewers or critics don't have the ability to do that. As I'm checking the nose on this, I'm trying to be clear here. Yeah, I mean, there are some nice aromas and flavors, but it does taste like a young bourbon. But that is, again, not necessarily a criticism. I don't feel like there's anything inherently wrong or flawed about this particular whiskey, but it just might not be for everyone. Then again, here's the caveat to everything I just said, is that this particular, well, he didn't give me the whole bottle. He gave it to me about here. But what I'm drinking here, it was given to me. I don't know what the price point is on this whiskey. So knowing that could change my overall outlook on the whiskey. Meaning that, what would a whiskey like this be worth to me? If it is X amount of dollars, no, I would never. Or what would I compare it to at the same price point? I'm gonna set that down. I don't know. I'm gonna let that breathe a bit. I'm gonna pick this up. Yeah, I didn't realize I still had one of these left. This is my this is the Sam Adams OVP, the Oak Vanilla Porter, only in that variety pack, exclusive from Sam's. Ale aged on oak chips with natural vanilla flavor. For me, this beer is, it is Sam Adams. It is what Sam Adams does, and what I mean by that is it's good. There's nothing wrong with it. The aromas and flavors are nice. It isn't inherently flawed in any way. There is nothing wrong with this beer. So what is wrong with that, you might say? What's wrong with that, Tom? What's wrong with not being, with nothing being wrong? Nothing. It's a nice beer. It's easy to drink. It is a certainly adequate example of the style, which again is somewhat of a criticism, you could say, if you want to interpret it that way, is that it is kind of what Sam Adams does. Sam Adams likes safe. And that's what this beer is. Almost everything Sam Adams does is good, but it's safe. They rarely, very rarely anymore anyway. They used to, there was a time, but they very rarely anymore even attempt to get out of the box. Everything they do is, that's good. But I feel like they have the ability to be great and refuse to do so. Because I feel like there was a time where they were on the cusp of being great. They really were, well, especially when they had that Hallertau Imperial Pilsner, which was just amazing. And it seemed like just soon after that, they decided to make a complete shift in what they do and just do adequate beer. And that's what they do. I mean, I'm not complaining about Sam Adams beer. I'm not telling you there's anything wrong. I'm saying everything they do is adequate. It's good. It's serviceable, but almost nothing they do is going to really rock a world or say, "Wow, that's the best of this particular style I've ever had." But there was a time where they were that, and they're certainly not that anymore. They decide to sacrifice being the best for being good. Uh, that's, that's a little simplified, isn't it, Tom? Or oversimplified? Yeah, it really is. And the truth is, to have the distribution that they have, there might have been some changes made, and that's just sad to me. Is that again, they could have been that one brewery that everybody is talking about because I felt like at one point they were really close to being that, and all of a sudden we got this. The oak vanilla porter is good, but it is for me. It is the very definition of what Sam Adams has become. Is again, it's just a very decent, serviceable beer. There's nothing terrible about it. There's nothing great about it. There's nothing I'm going to remember about this beer the second it's gone. By the time next winter comes around or next Black Friday comes around when they have that mixed pack, I'm going to have no recollection of what this beer tastes like because there's nothing about it that is memorable. And that is, for me anyway, that is what Sam Adams has become. There's nothing memorable about anything they do. There's nothing terrible. It's good beer. It's worth the money, but it's not memorable. It's not going to make you go, holy crap, damn. Now, there's nothing Sam Adams does that's going to make you do that. But again, there was a time. And the beer I always harken back to is that Hallertau, that Imperial Hallertau Pilsner. That damn, they had a chance to be great and they chose not to. Well, can I argue with their success? Can you argue with their success? Tom, no, I can't. I mean, they do have mass distribution. They're obviously doing well, but you have to. I mean, for me anyway, I think, well, what could they be if they decided to be on the forefront of every new style like they once were, like that Hallertau Pilsner? If they jumped up and said, "Hey, we're going to take some chances." But anyway, nevertheless, okay, I'm going to let that go. I'm going to let that bone go for now. Ah, had a nice mug club day at Springfield Brewing Company Day. My mug club day, so you get a mug has a number on it, and that is your day. So today was my day, and every beer was $1. I only had four though. I mean, it's 20 ounce mug. Four is a lot of beer, man. It's for me anyway. It's all I can do, but it was very good. It was nice, but it was mostly nice because I got to meet some friends out there. First I talked to Christy and Matt, and then I talked to Hefe, El Hefe, or Jeff, and then my buddy Scott came out, and so it was nice. And there were some other folks along the way there. But it's always nice, to meet some friends and just bullshit. For me, I don't typically make plans with friends. I do occasionally, but I don't really because I don't necessarily mind being alone. I like running into friends. I love talking to friends, but I don't necessarily like to be tied into having to be at a certain spot at a certain time for a certain length of time. But it was nice today that the folks that knew it was my mug day came out to visit me. That was very nice of them to do so. The place was packed when I first got there. There was no stools yet at the bar even, but there was a little gap between one spot and this spot, and there happened to be two folks that I knew over here, uh, Matt and Christy. So I walked between Matt and Christy. I said, "Would you guys mind if I grab a stool over there and put it on this side?" I said, "I want to crowd you." So, "Oh no, that's fine." So, so I did. So it was very nice of them to let me. We talked for a little bit. Then my friend El Jefe came in, and then two spots opened up the back of the bar, so him and I moved over there where we could sit down, and it was a lot of fun, man. I don't get out as much in my old age as I did as a younger person, but I feel like I make the most of that opportunity now, or make more of that opportunity now than I did then. Then it was more just about getting out. This now it's more about just taking a breath, right? Taking a breath, having a beer, talking with some friends. It's not about having 6 beers and getting hammered and going home. It's about having maybe 2 or 3 and relax and get some stuff out of your system. Is there you? I think we all have friends we talk about certain things with, right? We got friends we only talk this with. We got friends we only talk that with. We probably have certain friends we talk about everything with, but sometimes it's nice to have those certain friends. Okay, right now I'm just going to focus on this. Right now I'm just going to focus on that. Okay, I'm safe. This is a safe area here. We can talk about politics without fear of reprisal. That's getting more difficult these days. Yeah, so let me talk about this whiskey for a second. Yeah, but my only criticism is that it's a young whiskey, so it's not going to be the most nuanced. But I do enjoy the flavors and aromas that it imparts. It is rather sweet. For me, it's a rather sweet bourbon. So I'm getting a lot of big caramel notes. You might pick up some raisin, but again, it's not the most nuanced where you're going to pick a lot of dark fruit notes out of. But that's not necessarily a bad thing either. There's nothing harsh about it at all. There's no flaws that I can pick up on. It's certainly not boozy in any way. Some nice light spice and finish along with the oak. As far as spice notes, for me, it's a light mix of baking spice, a little bit of cinnamon, allspice. You might feel some nutmeg and clove in there, depending on how you feel spice notes. But for me, it is a tad on the sweet side. But then I will admit that I am more sensitive to sweetness than most. I will pick out sweet notes more than most will. So, which is probably why especially in my old age, I've been gravitating more towards higher proof or even cask strength bourbons or whiskeys, because yeah, the even at this at 90 proof, they all tend to be a little sweet for me. I tend to like the 100 proof bald and bond and above, but I do love cast. I really do. Because again, in my old age, it's become more about quality than quantity. I'd rather have a good ounce and a half or 2 ounces of a good cask than drink half a fifth of Jim Beam, right? Not that I'm knocking Jim Beam, it is what it is. But yeah, that be uh, the point is no less relevant. Is that I would rather drink a very nice evolved cask whiskey, just have an ounce and a half or two, a neat, than to drink quantities of a lesser whiskey just to get to a certain point. There was a time I did understand that, but like I said, in my almost 60 old age, yeah, that just doesn't work for me anymore. I just want to relax. I want to enjoy the product. I don't want to drink product fast. I don't want to get I don't necessarily I'm not looking to get hammered. I just want to look at I want to enjoy a good product for what it is. Uh, and having said that, let me show you this bottle one more time. Yeah, like I said, I don't know the price point on this whiskey, so that could be the decider. In all honesty, but for me, I do enjoy it. Yeah, what would I pay for this whiskey? Let me take a shot in the dark because I have no idea what the price point is on it. For me, I would say 25 to 30. 35 is what I would pay for it. Top end, 25 to 35, but I wouldn't necessarily want to pay more. So if it's a $45 whiskey, I probably wouldn't go at it. But again, we're talking about a smaller distillery product. In all honesty, it's probably about a $40 whiskey. But here's the caveat to everything I just said is that when I'm on vacation, if I'm looking in my neck of the woods for certain products, there's only a certain amount of money I'm willing to pay because I'm old. I'm a working class guy and I'm on a budget and I'm a tightwad. But when I'm on vacation, I can see products or I have an availability to products that I know I can't get in my neck of the woods. I will typically pay a little bit more for those products than I would back home because I don't have access to those. And again, I'm on vacation. I've saved up. This is what I plan to do. I will pay a little bit more for those products because that vacation mentality is a little bit different. Well, it is for me. It's going to separate the two. Think, okay, I saved up for this. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to not think about that price for half a second. anyway, Sluncher. Yeah. Anyways, I digress. I am the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and yeah, I mean, again, without beating a dead horse, as my dad would say, yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this beer. There's nothing wrong with it. Sam Adams Oak Vanilla Porter. It does what it says it's going to do, but you always have that feeling that maybe they could have went a little farther, right? I would have liked to have had an 8.5% version of an actual oak vanilla porter. But anyway, this is where we are, man. I am Top the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and all right, good guys, lunch. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Hefe, I didn't realize you were watching. Thanks, man.